at all times. Thank you so much. In the chat box, please do not share your personal details or information for the convenience of others. And in case there are some issues related to that, Tati will not be held responsible. Number three is that please do not put up the raise hand sign if not necessary. And then try leaving your videos on at times for the convenience of the speaker as they can feel that you are interactive with them. Thank you so much, and we'll be beginning in a couple of minutes. you so much to everyone for waiting. Day 4 and the days have gone fast. We have crossed half the year thinking about and living in the pandemic. How many of us still believe that one day life is going to be normal? How many believe that there is still a chance and a way to live? To answer all your questions, welcome you all to Global Summit 2020 Unlock the Lockdown, proudly presented by Tamil Nadu Advanced Technical Training Institute. This is your GRO, Dr. Tendal from Tatti, and this is your right choice of place for all the answers you need in your life. Now, I kindly request all of y'all to take a pause for Tamil Thai Varthu. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, I would like to call upon the man behind the Tatti and the operations, Mr. Joshua Jara, to kindly take up the session.
Thank you, ma'am. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we might end up failing at times. Understanding that failure is not the opposite to success is an important part of success. With that, I would like to welcome all the participants for the Global Summit 2020. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Rajesh Ramachandren. He is the Pro-Chancellor of AMET University Chennai, Vice President, Saraswathi Institute of Medical Sciences, Uttar Pradesh, Vice Chairman, New Era Association of Educated Self-Employed Youth, NASSEY. He is the Chairman of the TNCC Research Wing. He has been awarded the Honorary Doctorate from the Commonwealth University London for his exceptional service towards maritime education. And he is the most sincere and one of the most inspirational person I ever met in my entire career. With this, I would like to welcome Dr. Rajesh Ramachandren for the program. Sir, the session is yours.
Very good evening, Joshua. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. First of all, congratulations to Team Joshua for this wonderful summit. I know how difficult it is to organize a webinar because I've been doing it on and off both officially and also for social initiatives. But organizing a webinar with a different, international speakers and for 5 days is actually a big task. I think Joshua, congratulations! You have done your team has done a really great job. Again, thank you for calling me for this inauguration session of the 4th day. I think it's the 4th day, the 4th day of your summit. I've been following up for the last 3 days with your summit. It's been very, very informative sessions. All your speakers were top class, and just sitting across the iPad or sitting just with the phone. I think most of us have had wonderful information from all across the world, from different experts from different walks of life. So when when Joshua called me and asked me, to inaugurate today's session, I had a request to him. I told him I'm ready to inaugurate the session. I know I can see who the speakers are, and also I know there will be a varied guests who are taking part in this webinar. So I've been for the last couple of months, I've been talking about a particular issue. You can call it an issue in all possible platforms which I have got to speak. So I didn't want to miss this platform too, because I know there will be people from different walks of life, different age groups attending this webinar. So I would like to touch upon that particular topic, and then I would like to give the floor to the other honorable speakers. As Joshua introduced, we run a maritime university, a very small maritime institution, which has turned out to be a maritime university. We are almost 30 years old. So as I told you, that issue which I've been talking about for last couple of months is about one neglected group of the frontline warriors. Because all of us know the frontline warriors are the doctors, the nurses, the cops, the police on the streets, a lot of people whom we can see who are really, really working hard during this pandemic times. But there are one group of people who are also working hard during this pandemic times for us, for all the people across the world. But unfortunately, they, just because they are not in front of our eyes, they are not visible for us. So they have been easily neglected or not come in front of the scene. I am talking about the people working on the ships, the mariners, the merchant seafarers who keep the world warm and fed are trapped in floating prisons. Shipping companies do appreciate the hardships and resilience of seafarers amid this global pandemic, yet thousands are still stranded at sea. Seafarers are the backbone of the global community who are tirelessly operating 24/7 to move our needs in this COVID pandemic and beyond. Our governments and the global community is doing enough to recognize their sacrifices? I don't think so. Despite the pivotal role they play in the good times, and especially the bad, the seafarers remain marginalized and largely invisible. This needs to change. With the world in the midst of corona pandemic, the shipping industry is already feeling the impact as the global economy heads into a deep recession. Hundreds of ships sailing have been cancelled as first ports in China and then across the globe have seen trade fall away, with millions of workers and consumers in lockdown. Caught in the center of this have been the world's 1.6 million seafarers. I repeat, 1.6 million seafarers on 50,000 tankers and cargo carriers. Many of them are unable to leave their ships or find themselves stuck in hotels without pay and unable to get flights home. Every month, normally during the regular times, every month 1 lakh merchant mariners come to the end of their contract on their ships and need to be flown home. But the pandemic has halted all this. Some of these seafarers have spent 9 months away from their families already. 9 months, can you believe? And it's not looking particularly likely they'll be able to go home anytime soon. The world's biggest shipping firm, you all must have heard, the AP Moller Maersk, is the one of those which has halted its crew changes and says it's done so to protect them by lessening the number of social interaction they need to have. So this is the kind of struggle this particular group of people, the so-called mariners, the seafarers who are out in the middle of the ocean, somewhere in the middle of the ocean, nowhere, they call it nowhere. And they are trying to get us oil, they are trying to get us supplies, without which we cannot survive. So what will be the effect of COVID-19 on the shipping industry beyond 2020? With virtually no cargo moving by air. I mean, first of all, we are not able to fly, so there is no chance of cargo moving by air. So shipping could become even more crucial. As it is, 90% of world trade by volume goes only by sea. Yet many analysts expect the drop in demand across Europe and North America to have a longer term impact. We could be taking a decade at least of difficulty. Alan Murphy says the pandemic will trigger questions about the shape and sustainability of world trade and globalization. A lot of protectionist arguments are going to be made against outsourcing. So it will have a very profound impact on how global supply chains are organized. It is going to be a political topic in the coming years. So it is my duty to talk about people who I work with, people whom I'm involved with, the mariners, seafarers. And thank you, Joshua, for giving me this platform. So from now on, all the listeners, please add seafarers, mariners into your frontline warrior list. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, brother. Can we have a couple of quick questions, brother, from the participants?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, definitely.
On behalf of the participants, first question is, could you mention what are the job opportunities available in the maritime field post COVID-19?
See, as I told you, Joshua, 90%, I mean, even before COVID pandemic, 90% of world trade moves through ships, only through ships. So, which means all of if for a day, for example, if we say for a day, the shipping industry goes on a strike. Just imagine for a day, then some country in the world will not have salt. Some country in the world will not have sugar. One part of the world will not have rice. So shipping industry is always a thriving industry. Come what may, the fuel prices may go up, the fuel prices might come down. No recession, nothing can hit the shipping industry. In this shipping industry, as you asked, there are different kinds of opportunities. Right from, as I told you, the guys who work on ship, the guys who build ships, the guys who do trading, they do logistics. So there are a lot of varied options, varied opportunities. Maybe you can, towards the end of the session, maybe you can highlight our university's website where people can go and get more details about different career options in maritime industry.
Thank you very much, brother. The next question is, what could be the various possible courses that one could take up to enter this particular industry? And is there any prerequisite to join those programs?
Okay, so now we are towards the end of academic year, but unfortunately our young boys and girls who have just completed their 12, who are supposed to complete their 12th, they have had a lot of struggle. They didn't have, some of them couldn't give their exams. Their exams got postponed. And now I think the government has come up with some kind of understanding where, from the previous marks, they'll end up getting their plus 2 results. So I will first tell you about plus 2 students. Plus 2 students have an option of, as I told you, they can go to sea as a marine engineer or a captain. For that, they should have plus 2 plus max physics chemistry. And 60% in physics, chemistry, max aggregate. Also, we do have shipbuilding courses, which we call it as naval architects, for which again the students should have, +2 students should have a PCM, physics, chemistry, max with 50%. For the postgraduates, we exclusively run MBA courses for shipping and logistics, for shipping finance, for which the basic requirement is any degree with the first class, which is 60%. So these are the available options. I mean, I've kept it very brief, but in detail they can get it on our website, which is www.ametuniv.ac.in. I repeat, it is www.ametuniv.ac.in.
Thank you, brother. Brother, one last question, brother.
Yes.
If anybody wants to start a business, do you think this is the right time, and your thoughts about it?
Anybody wants to start a business? As it is, I don't. As a businessman, I don't think this is the right time. You know, as our Alibaba king Jack Ma says, surviving 2020 itself is a profit. So as a businessman, I don't suggest opening up new business, but this pandemic has brought a lot of a demand for a lot of things, which I think our youngsters, they know better, because for example, the medical related equipments and the medical demand is very, very high. So something related to that can work. And supply chain, logistics, supply chain is a very big business, is booming. You know, we are still sitting at home and we are still getting our food. We are still getting our Amazon orders. We are still getting our furniture ordered, delivered. So logistics and supply chain is definitely a good business to think about. And internet related businesses, like, you know, like what right now, the Zoom call. So internet and internet related businesses are also a good option. But I think again, it depends on, see, in India, unfortunately, every single business is done by, for example, you can take a vegetable seller. There is someone selling vegetables at our doorstep. And there is this biggest company called Reliance, who is also selling vegetables in a shop called Reliance Fresh. So how do you expect this guy who is selling vegetables at my door to compete with the Reliance Fresh? So that is the biggest challenge India is facing. All big time business giants are into all businesses, unlike other countries. And if you take European countries, for example, if there is someone, if there is a big giant in one industry, he will continue to do only that business. Unlike in India, as I told you, there is someone selling vegetable at my doorstep. And even the world's 9th richest man, who was declared debt free, he's got 0 loans, debt free. I think last couple of weeks back, 9th richest man in the world, they say, is also selling vegetables. So that is the imbalance in our market, I guess. But youngsters, this is the time to think what works as a business. At the same time, not to, you know, be over ambitious and burn your fingers also.
Thank you very much, brother, for answering all the questions very patiently and for inaugurating today's session. On behalf of all the participants and myself, I would like to thank you a lot for taking part in this program, brother.
Thank you, Joshua. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure in introducing the next speaker of today, Diana Petzol. She is a superpower coach, motivational speaker, He's an associate certified coach with International Coaching Federation, the governing body that enforces coaching standards globally. An expert for positive mindset, which fills you with the thought seeds that changes your life. She has lived and worked in Belgium, France, USA, and Germany. She's an avid traveler, each time growing new cultural awareness, interpersonal relationships, and communication skills. Connecting with diverse people and positive thoughts around the globe enriches her life. On behalf of all the participants, I would like to welcome you, ma'am, to the session.
Thank you for your invitation, for the warm welcome. I think I switch to my PowerPoint, and then I will talk a little bit about me, and I start. It's okay? Yeah?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Who can share? Okay. So first of all, I would like to say namaste and thank you again for your invitation and for this opportunity to be part of this Global Summit 2020 from Tatti. And thanks to Enya, so we connected on LinkedIn and she reached out to me and Joshua just jumped in and said, yes, let's invite Diana. So thanks a lot again. And I think what you are doing is just amazing to support, especially young people in this sensitive time frame we are facing. And then thank you to all the students and participants who are here, who listen to me and to all other speakers. And I dearly hope that you can take something out of it, maybe a little bit from me, a little bit from someone else. Yeah, I would love to be in India right now to see you. This is much nicer than to talk to my laptop, but let's do the best and be grateful that we have the technology. Okay, just a little bit about me. I call me the superpower coach, and I say the superpower is within you. I faced in many phases in my life that the mindset is so powerful and important, and you have the power about it. And me as a German, I lived the last 20 years in 4 different countries. I moved 11 times. And I love to travel. I love to do, I'm a marathon junkie where I learned a lot about mindset too, because it's the half of the race is about mindset. And 2 years ago, I faced a very, I think the darkest time in my life so far. I really thought everything what I worked for, it was falling apart. I was draining and draining until you come to the point where you say, okay, now I need to trust the process and it's my choice what I'm doing now. And I jumped in the cold water and I changed my life. And today I can proudly say I feel better, stronger and healthier than ever before. And believe me, I'm a few years older than you are. So when I can do it, everyone can do it too. Okay, that's just a rough agenda. So I split my topics in 3 zones, in the fear and anger zone, in the learning zone, and the growth zone. And yeah, so I would like to think back in 2020 when we started the New Year's. I don't know how it was in India, but I think it was all around the world. We were so excited about the new year 2020. It will be our year. We were full of hope and ideas, and we said, wow, this is it's an extraordinary year. Why? Was it because of the number? I really don't know. And then suddenly, yeah, the coronavirus hit us within one week, 2 weeks. The whole world was in lockdown, and there were so many emotions coming up: fear, anger, worry. It was just overwhelming for everyone because we never faced this before. We didn't know how it goes, how it will look like, what is coming up. And maybe the day come and we are still coming back and we think, is this really my year, you know? I'm so young, and I really thought my years is totally going to be different, and it will be different, because end of the year, I'm pretty sure you have your story, and what you gain this year from the year, you will never forget about it. So I would say, let's figure out how can you develop your skills, what choices do you have, and what is your takeaway for 2020 and from this lockdown. Let's say from this lockdown. I'm pretty sure it teaches us something. So when we see in the dark blue, so we are here in the anger zone. So that's where we had this panic buys in the beginning. We were totally irritated. We felt like a victim, and maybe we even blamed some people, why they didn't do this, why they didn't act like that. So, and for me, it's important that you come out of this zone. You come to a learning zone where we help each other, where we say, okay, that's the situation. What can I do out of it, you know? And then in the growth zone, where you say, okay, I'm here in the now, and I do the most possible thing. And at the end, I really want that you are even here in the white zone, and you will. I'm pretty sure about it. So I cannot ask you personally, just have a second. And I wanted to ask you, how are you today? After these 3-4 months, sensitive, heavy time, how do you feel right now? And it's okay when you say, oh, Diana, I'm really still, I have no idea where I am right now. I feel not good. I don't have the energy. I don't have hope. Or maybe you say, oh no, actually I found my way. Whatever it is, there's no right and wrong. And it's not our point to judge you or to say, come on, you can do this. No, we need to accept where we are and where our friends are, where our colleagues are, where our family members are. We each face a time frame like this in a totally different way. So we have to accept. And it's really important to know that the negative thoughts, when they first appear, they are really the weakest. So we have a choice every day that we look in the news, in internet, TV, whatever you use. If we want, we can soak each day with negative thoughts or with negative messages. But we can also say, okay, now it's enough when I watch it 5 or 10 minutes a day and I concentrate on totally something different. And when something comes negative and say, okay, this is not what I want in my mind, because we are full of thoughts, thousands of thoughts every day. And now we have to control, and you can control if it's a negative, if it's demanding negatively, or if we say, no, we switch to positive thinking. So, and there are different explanations about fear, but we can forget everything and run. Right now we cannot run because we are in the lockdown, but we are locked in a room. So we are like in a prison, or we say, okay, now I face this bull, and I have strength in everything me. There's so much more, and I do the best out of it. And like this girl, she's pretty cool. She says, look in my eyes, I can do this. So, and it's really your choice. Every day, whatever we do, it's our choice, how we act and how we react. And I'm a person, I really like quotes, and from Eckhart Tolle, I think it's so beautiful described when he said, accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it is. If you had chosen it, always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life. This is for me so powerful, this message, because like when we think about this lockdown, it's not only in India, it's not only in your city, it's in the whole world. It's a bit different in each country, but more or less, we face the whole situation, which is kind of incredible, even it's not nice. So, but now it's the thing is, do we blame anyone? Do we stuck with the situation, or we say, okay, I mean, it came, we don't know why and how, but we accept this. So, and now, how can I move forward? How can I change something? How can I think in a different way? Yeah. So, and it means it's a choice. Do we go right for fear, or do we say, okay, courage. I have the courage and I try something. Maybe you figure out it was the ideal way to go, or maybe you say, okay, maybe it was not like I thought, but I have still the chance to go another courage way, another way. And when you stay in the fear zone, you stuck, so you're like frozen. And it has been never perfect, because who defines perfection? I think no one can do it, even if you're a perfectionist, sorry. Even then you say, no, I can do it even better. You know, there's never the right moment. The important point is that you really move forward step by step. Little step, it doesn't matter how big the step is, but do it, make a choice. So let's be curious, like this fish. He says, okay, I don't want to be always them. I want to see how it is in the next water bowl. You know, like, is this better? Is this the water better? The temperature? Do I have more room? What are my options there? Let's be curious. So I want that you think more about yourself, about self-care, about self-love, that you learn to love yourself, to look in the mirror and to say, I love you. Yes, I do. You are the most important person in your life. And please care about yourself. First, love yourself. I cannot go deeper into it. You can reach out to me, but then it's think about our plant. How can you refill your cup? How can you get energy? How can you have your fun? How can you enjoy your life? You have only one life. Yeah. There are so many ways, like how, you know, like that you exercise with whom you are together, and how you think about life. And I think you are better in India than we are in Europe. But he's a wise man. And he said, he knows how powerful meditation is. It can really take away your anger, anxiety, and depression, insecurity. To find it can be meditation, it can be something else. Maybe it's music, maybe it's reading a book. There's sport. Just to find a balance in your life, to get away from all these negative thoughts. I think for me, the most powerful is also to be grateful. We can start a new day and welcome a new day, say, thank you, there's a new day, there's a new chance for me. I'm alive, I'm healthy. Yes, and I have actually a bed where I could sleep in, you know, and I can make me a tea or coffee. I can taste the tea and the coffee. I can make it with love. I can, whatever I eat. Maybe you have a ventilator for the heat that is cooler in your room. Maybe you have friends. I don't know. Sorry. Do you still see my PowerPoint? Ah, yeah, no, sorry. I had a cut in the screen. So be grateful and make it more in detail. Don't say, okay, that's a big thing. Go really in detail, and it can be really interesting and fun, and you will appreciate more and more. And even when you go to bed, think the last thing, it's not your mobile, put it away, think at least about 10 things what happened today, and be grateful, and you will sleep in a much better way. And maybe you can make a screenshot from this. The Admiral McRaven, he's amazing. This is a power message, how you can start your day in making your bed, the impact of making your bed, and probably you already do it. That's a small act in the morning, but that's how you get up in the morning, how you welcome your day, and how you start. And so I really recommend to watch this on YouTube. So the next thing is choose wisely with whom you are connected. There are people, you have the same interests, you just connect, you can talk, you trust each other, you can laugh together, you can have serious talks, you can study. But there are also people who really drain you all the time, who talk negatively, or they're always blaming, or whatever it is. What I can say from my life, it's not easy at all, but go through the people who really lift you up, who you're really looking forward to meet, and keep those. But those who are really draining you, have the courage and to say, okay, we met for a certain time frame, but now it's time to let go. Delete friends on Facebook. You are not, they're not really friends. Whatever, it can be painful, but at the end, it's freeing. It's really freeing. And you want to be surrounded who have the same interests when you study, when you do sport, when you do whatever it is. But choose your friends or the connections in a really wise way. And it changes your life too. Another thing where you can think about or learn again from yourself, we are often so busy with our life, whatever we do, and or we're busy looking at others. Take from time to time the time and think about your own skills and values. And I think 2020 is a perfect year for it, to think about yourself. Are you really studying? Are you really working what you like? Is there really my passion? Is there the energy? What really drives me in the morning to get up? Where do I work and it feels not like work? And think about it, write it down, and maybe you figure out, or maybe there's something and said, okay, now it's the time I can learn a new language, or I can learn an instrument, or whatever it is. That's really an amazing mind opener. And if you have a hard time to find out where your skills and values are, that's really a fun game. And I just posted it last week on LinkedIn, and the reaction were incredible. And I was asked this for 2 years ago when I applied for a job. With which 3 hashtags would your friends describe you? Don't explain anything, just shoot this question, send it out to your family, your colleague, to your professors, teachers, yeah. Just say, give me three words, and you will be amazed. Believe me, your list will be long, and you will be amazed how your friends, how your teachers, how your family sees you, and you learn so much about yourself. And yeah, just enjoy. It's really worthwhile doing it. Yeah, and coming back to the thoughts that I said when I started in the beginning, please be careful about your thoughts. We are fulfilled with thoughts in our daily, and we are so used to it. But you have really the power of your thoughts. And if you want to change something about affirmations, when you start with I am, and maybe you are weak right now and you think, is this really me? I want to be different. Tell yourself, even you don't believe it right now, say, I am enough. I am strong enough. I am powerful. I am strong. There are so many you can look up in the internet and choose what talks to you, what you would love to say about yourself. Write it on the mirror that you see it every day. Write a small note on your laptop or on your phone as a screen stop, or in your wallet, that you see it over and over. Say it aloud. Say it aloud, if you believe it or not. But as many times you say it more aloud, you trigger your mind, and the moment comes and you really believe it and you live it. There are just a few examples how you can look at it when you say, oh no, I can't face this, and I don't know how I end 2020.
Diana, sorry to interrupt. Diana, 1 minute, please. Diana, in case if you're sharing a PPT, we are not able to see that. I just want to inform you.
No? Okay, wait.
In case if you are sharing a PPT, we are not able to see it. That's why I just want
I'm
to intimate
sorry.
you.
I just tried again. Now?
Yes, please try it again. No, we are not able to see it.
Okay. So did you see it the whole time or?
No, we were just figuring out maybe you're just talking and suddenly we came to a concept that you're talking from a PPT.
Oh no, I had a slideshow. So that's a pity. So when I say share screen, then I do all participants or only me?
All participants.
Yes, that's what I had. Yeah. Oh no. And now you cannot see it?
No, we don't.
Oh.
Do you mind proceeding with the talk or you would need the presentation? It's up to you.
I mean, it's a pity for you because
Maybe
there are people.
to us,
Yeah.
and, we will post it to the participants and you can continue your motivational talk. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, sure. And I'm really sorry about this. You should.
Because
But
we are getting adapted to technical glitches too.
yeah. Okay, it's really a shame. Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. So just go back to the, okay, now I have to explain what I see. So I have four boxes now. So the box one is the non to slide energy, where you say everything is I can't. No, I can't. And then the next level would be I need to. So you have limited energy. And with the moderate energy, you tell yourself, oh, I have to clean my apartment, or I have to study, and I have to look at this. But then you have the high energy where you say, oh, I choose and I want to, I can and I will. Yeah. So when you start a sentence with I will clean my apartment, my flat, because then it looks much better and it's fresh air and whatever. And I choose to study because I want to learn something new. So there are two different words with an enormous change in your thinking. So now I see a picture where there's a fishbowl and the goldfish jumps out of the fishbowl in the ocean. So, and it says, take risks. If you win, you will be happy. If you lose, you will be wise. So this fish now is jumping in the ocean. This little fish has no idea what awaits in the ocean. There's maybe a shark, maybe another scary thing. He doesn't know. He is so excited. He wants to jump in and figure out what is out in the world. And that's the beauty, especially when you're young. You should try different things. You should be excited what is out there in the world. And there's so many options. And my question for you is, what do you want? What do you want to make out of your life? What do you want to tell yourself in 10, 20, 30 years? Yeah, it's your choice. And then the next one is now it's, you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. The important thing is that you just take the next step in your life. Don't stand, move, try, small step, big step, doesn't matter. So, and you have always you can change the direction. This is very important. That doesn't mean when you decide today, I go this way, maybe next week, next year, say, okay, no, there are much better options, I go left. Yeah. And then try to think in a different way, turn it around, think out of the box, be curious, like a small child who does a curtain, take the curtain away and say, what is behind the curtain? What is out of this box? Where's the life? Where are other options? With whom can I connect? What can I learn? What can I do differently? It really opens your mind. And now I have just coming back, like, accept that the feelings and emotions are always coming, and especially stress feelings, they can be really draining, and they are also important that we have them, because those are protecting us for a certain time frame. It's only the question for how long do you want to stay in the stress level. And the way how you change thinking, it will change your life. And only you have the power over your own thoughts. No one else. No one else. The others, they can feed you with things, but what you think and what you tell yourself, that's in your own hands. Please remember this. So, and now I ask you to be a change maker. So don't wait for opportunities. Create them. Be creative. If it never happened before, do it. Try it. Whatever comes up, we often tell ourselves, oh, I'm not creative. This is not true. We are creative. There are others who are maybe much more creative. We are all creative. Just think about your skills, about your values you have, and use those. You are born with skills and values. You are unique. You are like a diamond, and a diamond needs edges, you know. So we have those painful times make us a new edge, but then it makes you more unique and more value. And you can throw a diamond on the floor; it will not break. And you are not breaking. You may be weak once in a while, but at the end, no, you are so special, like everyone else. So, and now I have a picture in front of me. There's a little plant coming out of concrete on the street, and it says something will grow from all you are going through, and it will be you. So I want you that you believe in yourself, and when you believe in yourself, you will be unstoppable. Yeah. And when you cannot write it on your mirror, is that I believe in myself. Yes, I am. I don't know your name. And repeat this, and you can do it. So, and Robert too said once in a wonderful quote, the struggle you are in today is developing the strengths you need for tomorrow. Cut the word from impossible to possible. I'm so convinced whatever you learn out of this sensitive time frame, you will take it for your whole life. You will always remember this time frame, and make something amazing out of it. And whatever you learned here and not stuck in your box, that's your takeaway. So, and then be patient and think not only for this moment, for this month, for this week, for this year, think in long term. Whatever you invest, whatever you do, it's long term. So when you, sometimes we tend to give up because we don't have the patience. We said, oh no, but I want to have the fruits. So when you think about a fruit tree, and under the soil, there are the strong roots. As stronger the roots are, that's your base. So make sure whatever you learn and the skills you are adapting, that they are strong, that they are really, really strong, because then a storm can come and it will not hit the tree. The tree will remain. It stands straight, chest up, heads up, and any storm can nothing do with the tree. And the day comes and the fruits are there. Maybe they're coming next month, maybe next year, maybe only in 10 years. It doesn't matter. Think about this fruit tree and the strong roots. It's a pity you don't see the picture now. It's a fun picture. So most or all of it, I really ask you to have fun. Have fun now. Take time off from your laptop. Take time off from studying. surround with your friends, have a good laugh, do fun things, dance together, crazy things, silly things. It's so important. And that's something I really had to learn too the last 2 years. Yes, I had always fun, but especially the last 2 years, having fun is the main key in your life. And don't be too serious. I know you're a serious learner and worker, but enjoy life too, okay? So, and now I have an eagle in front of me. An eagle is able to fly really, really high. And that's the thing again, when you think in long term, look at this big picture, not on a small picture right now. Fly high, have this bird view about your life, about the situation, and think further in the horizon. And when you think about your future, visualize your future, paint this in small details, what you want, and dream big. So when you have a dream, make it 10 times bigger. Go in detail, make it colorful. And if you can write it down, or you draw it, or you find pictures like a mind map from magazine, adjust it, make it nice, and put it at a wall, put it in your closet where you can see it, but remind yourself about your big picture. So now I have another 2020 sign where the people put it up, and I dearly hope end of the year you say, okay, that was the strangest year ever and I don't want to have it anymore. But I come out stronger. When I look back in the beginning of the year, even I had this big hope and thought that's an amazing year. What I learned this year, it's so much. And it's think always back, how were you in January, how you are today. I'm pretty sure you have changed. And now think another 6 months, and 6 months you have so many choices. Make the best out of it, and what will be your takeaway for 2020? So my slideshow comes to an end. I would like to say thank you first, and I thank you a virtual hug. I'm a hug person. And feel free to connect with me. You're more than welcome to connect with me through LinkedIn if you have an account. Since you cannot see my slide, maybe Joshua can share it with you and just
we'll do that.
Message. That's fine. Yeah, and I'm so sorry that you cannot see my slideshow.
It was so great. We even got some of the participants saying that you were doing great even without the PPT.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Diana, for that very inspirational speech. I think it was a need of the hour. Can we go for a quick question, Diana? Is that fine with you?
Yeah, sure. Of course. As long as I can
yeah, from one of the participants, we have a question. And could you please tell us how to handle depression?
How to handle the
depression?
The pressure?
Depression.
Depression, yes. I mean, that's really important with depression. It's really not easy to be in this stage, yeah, and to get out of it. What's really helpful is that you make a journal, buy a beautiful book. You can put a paper too, but I really recommend a journal book which you love, which talks to you. Write down every single day in the morning, write down how grateful you are and write it with your hand. That makes a huge difference. Yeah, be more grateful, see more the beauty in your life. See, like as I said about the skills and values you have, there's so much beauty in your life, and see more. It's the way of thinking. You have to shift your mindset. And you have the power of your mind. And when you pay attention, then normally in depression, you have really negative thoughts. You're fulfilled all day long. Write it down, something to look for positive affirmations. say them aloud. If you believe, probably you don't believe it, but say it aloud over and over and over, and the day comes and it shifts you. Yeah, that's short version.
Thank you very much, Jaina, for your valuable inputs and for motivating all of us. I think it was the need of the hour. On behalf of all the participants, myself and Tati, we would like to thank you for spending your valuable time, Diana.
Yeah, thanks a lot again. It was really a pleasure. And I'm so sorry about this PowerPoint.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you too. Bye.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the next speaker. I now request Dr. Jnanadasan sir, HOD, Department of Management Studies, DMI Engineering College, to introduce the next speaker of the day.
Good evening, one and all. Sir Joshua, I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Steve Godfrey is an adventurer, scholar, and an entrepreneur. After his graduation, he worked for Accenture for 4 years. He has spent 10 years in training Russian participants in Siberia. He was also an information technology consultant for 10 years in US for Northwestern Mutual Incorporated. He owns Godfrey International, a private coaching business that envisions people to grow second income stream outside of their day jobs, while also growing their life purpose. Indeed, it's our pleasure to have you in this webinar to deliver an expert talk on winning in life no matter what. Thank you and welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be with you all today. I think it's just amazing that with the technology we have, we can connect literally around the world. And I have to tell you that being with you today reminds me of my time in Siberia, because we were only 1 or 2 time zones different from where you are. And I'll talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to try to share a PowerPoint. We'll see if this works for you, and let's figure that out before we get any farther here. Let me pull this up. Now, I think if I share this, share my desktop, and then I should be able to start this, and we'll see if this works. Okay, there we go. So I just have to go to the beginning now. Can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, Steve, we are able to see it.
Okay, good. So what I wanted to talk with you today about was how to win at life, and just give you some reflections from my own journey. I know that COVID-19 has been a challenge for all of us. We're all social beings, and so to be isolated really has an emotional impact on us. And I appreciated the question that was just asked about depression, because that's a significant issue many of us have to navigate given the isolation that we're in. And so I hope that what I share will also help in terms of answering that question.
Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just see the center part of your presentation, but not the full picture.
Okay, I
maybe
can do this a little different. Let me try something a little different and see if this works better. Let's try this and see. Now, if I go, what are you seeing now?
I see the second slide, and that's fine.
Okay, are you seeing like just the slide, or are you seeing the whole, my whole layout?
Slide 3.
Slide 2 and slide 3. Okay, I can do this actually a little differently. It'll be easier. Here, slide only. Yeah, so I'll just share it like this. So now you should be able to just see the slide, right?
Yeah, I think this is fine.
Okay.
You can see.
Yeah. I will tell you all, I used to work in information technology, and we had a joke, which was that human beings make mistakes, but it takes a computer to really foul things up. And so, as wonderful as technology is, sometimes it can create challenges for us. But what I want to do is really accomplish three things in our time together here, and I'll keep an eye on the time to make sure I honor that. First, I just want to connect with you on a human and personal level, because I believe transformation happens through relationships and conversations, and transformation happens in the soil of community. And so it was fascinating to hear Diane talk about, really think about who you want to associate with, because the people you spend your time with will impact how you view the world and how you think about things, and even your income. We say in our business, if you take the average income of the five people you spend the most time with, your income will probably be right in the middle of whatever those people's income is. So if you want to increase your income, you need to associate with people that have greater incomes than you do, just to understand how they think and how they live, and have access to more opportunities. And I found that to be very, very true in my own life. So with that aside, I want to do three things. Connect with you this morning, just have a conversation briefly about winning at life, and give you three key points on that topic, and then just talk about ways that we can identify ways we can connect further, because relationships are everything to me, and we'll get into that here. So let me see if I can go. Now I gotta figure out how to get to my next slide here. How do I do this? I'll have to put this up. There we go. Okay. So getting connected. I live in the United States in a city you probably haven't heard of called Milwaukee, and you can see it's just north of Chicago in the middle of the United States. And I live in a state called Wisconsin. You can see that right here. It's really a beautiful part of the country, especially in our summertime, which we're in now. And Milwaukee is a Native American Indian name meaning beautiful place. So when the first Native Americans came into this area, and they saw Lake Michigan and they saw the beautiful countryside, that was the best way they could describe it. So I feel very grateful for where we live. It's a wonderful city of about 1 million people in the metro area, and so we have all the benefits of a big city, but yet it's small enough that you can go anywhere in the metro area within, say, an hour. And so it's kind of a combination of a large city and small town feel that we really enjoy. And this is just a little bit more of a close-up. We live in this Great Lakes region, so we're on this big lake called Lake Michigan here, and then to the north of us is Lake Superior. I have relatives that live over here in Toledo, so we travel there, and that's on another lake called Lake Erie. And it's just a fascinating part of the country. This is my family. So my wife's name is Heather. We've been married 31 years, and she is a remarkable lady. Actually, 32 years now. And I'm so thankful for her. And, when you have a companion in life that knows you well, it just is a really powerful thing. And we have 3 boys. Nathan is my oldest. He graduated from North Park University in Chicago and is now at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. He wants to be a college history professor and teach military history. So he's a graduate student right now and just got married last December. And then Karcher, my second son, who's on the left here, is a graduate of Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, so he has more of a technical education like I think many of you are getting. He was trained as a mechanical engineer and is now an officer in the U.S. Navy, serving on an attack submarine called the USS California, which is based in Groton, Connecticut. So it's very exciting to be a Navy family and have him serving. And then this is my youngest son, Noah, and he just graduated from high school, so he's now 18. He looks different than he does here. This picture is probably 5 years old, yeah, because this is our dog Moses. And Noah is off to Grove City College and thinks he may want to be a pastor. So we're just very blessed as a family, and I really enjoy being a father, really enjoy being a husband. And I will tell you, having worked professionally now for 30 years, when you look back on your life, you won't remember so much where you worked or what positions you had or the clients you worked for, even though those are good memories. But what you'll remember more than anything are your family and friends. And so my heart is just to encourage you to build good relationships with your family. And I know that can be difficult because we're all works in progress, but when you approach it with a heart of gratitude, it makes all the difference. I also wanted to then just share briefly some of my own life experience with COVID-19 recently. So I was at our health club just yesterday and took this picture so you could kind of see. There's a screen here they've put up to try to stop transmission of the virus, and the staff are all wearing masks, but they have reopened the club and they have disinfectant everywhere. So it's nice to see them as a business finding ways to reopen and get back to more normal operating. They were closed completely for about 2 months. And as a family, one of the things we did to respond to the crisis that's been very good for us emotionally is to create a vegetable garden, which we've never had before. So this is our vegetable garden in our backyard, and we have corn and squash and beets and zucchini, and we call this our victory garden. In World War II, there were a lot of families in the United States and in England that created what they called victory gardens, and the idea was, since food was scarce, you grow more of your own food. And so we call this our victory garden over COVID-19, and that's been a great family project. I spent my 30s living in a city called Irkutsk, Siberia, which is just north of you guys. Head up through China, Mongolia, and you'll find yourself there on beautiful Lake Baikal. There's a book that you might really enjoy reading called The Long Walk. And The Long Walk is about some European and Americans who were imprisoned in Siberia in the 1930s and decided to escape the labor camp by walking to India. And the book is about their walk to India, and it's a great read. And forgive me, I don't remember the author's name right now, but if you just look for The Long Walk, you'll find it. And there's actually a movie made about it too. This is my business partner, Greg Francis, and his family, and I just wanted to share briefly their story because I think it conveys why I'm in the business that I'm in and what we do. We give the people the opportunity to become independent business owners, and typically these are professionals who are already working full-time but want to retire earlier than working for 40 years and may want more income and may also want more time freedom. You know, the problem, at least in corporate America, is that you can earn quite a bit of income, but you also end up working a lot of hours. So you end up working 80 hours a week and you never see your family. And so we're in an industry called network marketing, which some of you may have heard of. and we give people the opportunity to become a business owner themselves. And Greg started doing this at age 26, and I just want you to understand what he was able to do. He started in our business as a second income stream at age 26. In 5 years in a row, he created $50,000 of new income for himself, so that at age 31, he was making $60,000 as an engineer and $250,000 as a network marketing professional. And at that point, he was then able to just leave his day job. And so he's been free now for 15 years to spend time raising his kids. And for him, that was very significant because his dad was never home, never saw any of his football games. He was a football player. And so we know their family very well. We're very close friends, also business partners. And the biggest concern that people have with network marketing is that they think, is this what's called a pyramid scheme, or something where some people pay money in so other people can get their money out? And I just want you to know we are not a pyramid scheme. The revenue in our business comes from the sales of products and services, just like any other business. We are a pyramid structure, just like any organization has a pyramid structure. You're going to have a president, you will have some vice presidents, you'll have some directors, some managers, and then employees under that. So what I encourage people to do is think about our business as not a pyramid scheme, but as private franchising. So we set you up as the owner of your own business. Imagine you owned a McDonald's restaurant, but then you had the ability to open as many other McDonald's restaurants as you wanted to. That's kind of how our business works. So we call it private franchising, and I think that's a good way to understand it. All right, so let's see here. Let me see if I can fix this so you can see. Well, you can see it okay. All right, there we go. Some connections to India that I have that I just want to share very briefly, and then I'll get to my main points. But I really believe just knowing each other's people is really important, and a lot of the benefit we can give to each other comes through relationships. So this is why I wanted to share these quick little anecdotes with you. One of my first experiences with India was through a man named Pradeep Samuel Gunnar, who is from Lucknow. We met at a conference in Amsterdam in 1983. And to make a long story short, I was a drummer, and he came up to me after we performed and mentioned that he worked with some teens in his city that were also drummers, and so I gave him a pair of my drumsticks, and we've been friends ever since. And I do get to see him occasionally. His daughter lives in Chicago, and he's just a wonderful person. So he's one Indian national that I know somewhat well. Then when I worked at Northwestern Mutual, I worked with a lot of contractors from India through Infosys. And one of the things they taught me was about your holiday Diwali. And they said, you know, Diwali is wonderful because it's this time when everybody forgives each other and there's joy and light and peace for about 5 days or a week or however long it is. And I mentioned to them, I said, did you know that perpetual Diwali is available to every person on earth? And I won't go into that now, but that's something I believe. So that's another connection for me to your world and culture. When I lived in Irkutsk, there was a plane crash, and this was about 1993 probably. A giant Antonov 124, that's that giant Russian plane that carries air freight, had 2 Sukhoi fighters in it that were destined for India from our city. They build those in our city, in Irkutsk where I lived, and it crashed on the city. and it was really a terrible tragedy. I was up there the day after the crash. It was a little different part of the city than I lived in, but I'll never forget that. And then there's another couple named Mayank and Sejal Gala, who are very successful leaders in our business organization, and I know that they have a significant business in India. I don't know the details, but I just mentioned their names to say that if any of you have interest in connecting with me afterwards, and if there might be a way I could open up an opportunity for you through our business system, what I would try to do is connect you with them, and we could then work out some details. So enough on that. So how to win at life. 3 things that I want to get across to you, and these are just critical. First of all, find mentors and pursue them. There are 2 ways that we learn things in life. One is through mentors, and one is through experience. And so you've got to find mentors that have what you want and can help you to figure out how to get that for yourself. And in our mentorship program, we talk about 4 considerations that I think everybody needs in life. First, we all need to reflect on what is my purpose? What is my big why for what I'm doing? So even more importantly than what you're doing is why you're doing it. And I can tell you, for me, some of my whys have a lot to do with my family and my family legacy, and also wanting to bring hope to people and places. So spend some time, and there's a great exercise you can go through that I learned from Simon Sinek. Some of you may have seen some of his videos on YouTube, and he talks about 5 layers of why. So if you're, say, pursuing a job as a computer programmer, which is something I'm familiar with, ask yourself, why am I doing this job? And then take the answer to that question and say, why did I answer that way? And then do that 5 times. And by the 5th answer, you will be getting down to some core emotional reasons for why you're doing what you're doing. And if you can identify with that, pull that out, you will find yourself very motivated to pursue whatever it is you're doing. I'll tell you one way I can really identify with that is as a musician. I was a musician in college, a jazz drummer, and there was something about playing that allowed me to express myself in ways that I can't even put into words, and that was so meaningful and continues to be meaningful for me to this day. So you have to have that purpose, sense of purpose, and that comes from reading, that comes from spending time with mentors, that comes from time from praying, from journaling, talking with friends. So work on that, work on your purpose, work on your why. Then the second thing you need is a strategy. So once you know what your why is, what's your strategy for accomplishing your purpose? And then thirdly, you need a vehicle for accomplishing your strategy. And then fourth, you need mentors who can teach you how to drive the car well, drive the vehicle well in pursuit of your strategy, in pursuit of your purpose. So that's a great framework for life, I believe. So I'm just going to hop around a little bit here. So 3 things that I want to share with you. First, find mentors and pursue them. That's the first point that we just covered. Now I'm going to share 2 other points with you. Second, focus on what you can control, attitude and actions. And then I'll say thirdly that we need to live with a 5-year time horizon. So I'll get into that second point quickly here. Focus on what you can control. We all realize in this era of COVID, there's a lot out of our control. None of us can control this virus other than to possibly wear a face mask, which may have some effect, socially distance, try to take care of ourselves in terms of being physically healthy, and that's about it. So what can we always control no matter what? 2 things. we can control our attitude in terms of how we react to things, and we can control our actions in terms of how we respond to things. So for me, I want you to know I am a strong Christian, and Psalm 23 has been very significant for me. There's one passage in there that says this. It says, He leads me beside quiet waters. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. And the big idea there is that no matter what's going on in the world, even if it involves great adversity, there is quiet water available. There are green pastures available in a spiritual sense. And there is restoration for our souls available. And, you know, your spiritual convictions are also very significant for your direction in life. And I encourage you to also spend time developing those and really thinking about those. You know, globally, we live more and more in a secular culture. And yet, the biggest questions in life are not the material questions, they're the immaterial questions and the eternal questions. And we would need to have a longer conversation, but I love talking about those kind of things too. So then in terms of actions, we can all respond well. So like I showed you our victory garden. So that was for us an example of responding to COVID-19 and also believing that there's hope and beauty and goodness all around us, even in the midst of a pandemic. So that can give you some things to think about. Thirdly and lastly, to win at life, we need to live with a 5-year time horizon. This was totally new to me until I got into my current business 2 years ago. I'd never heard this before. But my mentor, Greg, said, look, what successful people do is they think 5 years out, and then they get really clear on where they want to be in 5 years. And in our business, we talk about where do you want to be in terms of income, where do you want to be in terms of time freedom, and where do you want to be in terms of quality of relationships. And if you get real clarity on that, what Greg has said is all of us greatly overestimate what we can accomplish in a day. I don't know about you, but I'll make a to-do list of up to, say, 30 things, and if I get 10 of those done, it's been a really good day. And I actually try to get 3 things done a day, and that typically is a good day. So it's very easy for me to overestimate what I can accomplish in a day. But we underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years if we can get a focus on where we want to go and then align our priorities today with where we want to be 5 years from now. So we have a saying that if you don't know where you're going, you're bound to end up there, which is nowhere. All right. But if you know where you're going, you can get there just by taking one step at a time, day after day, with purpose and with hope and with conviction. So I would ask you each to think about, what do you want in terms of income, in terms of time freedom, in terms of quality of relationships? And maybe there's other things that are even more important to you than those 3 considerations. But figure out what you really want, and then put together a plan for yourself to put those things into your life over a 5-year period, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. So I would love to connect with you all further. I'd love to just take some questions if and as there is time right now, but here are ways that you can connect with me, and I will share this with Dr. Innie after the presentation too. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Can we have a quick question, Steve? Is that fine with you? How important is networking, relationship management, and reputation for having a successful business or a successful career?
Relationships are extremely important, and the biggest indicator for success in business is actually not intellectual intelligence, but emotional intelligence. And so in many cases, our schools don't really do as good a job as they could in terms of teaching emotional intelligence. One book that everyone should read in this regard is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you know, when you build a relationship, that's for a lifetime. And so if you make positive emotional deposits in a relationship, that can pay dividends for the rest of your life. If you offend somebody or don't fulfill a promise to somebody, that can be remembered for a lifetime too and hurt you for the rest of your life. Fortunately, you can learn skills about how to repair relationships with customers and colleagues, and that's just critical. And I found that senior leaders in organizations typically are the ones that can become very emotionally grounded, and they then become very steady under stress and adversity, which makes other people feel safe with them. And creating safety and creating optimism is so important in any organization, whether it's private, public, social sector.
Thank you very much, Steve. On behalf of all the participants, I would like to thank you for spending your valuable time and sharing your thoughtful input, Steve. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joshua.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the next speaker of the day. I now request Dr. Jamila Ma'am, Director, Center for Women Studies, Jabaz College for Women, formerly known as SIT, to give the introduction.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you're
Am I
audible.
audible, sir? Am I
Yes,
audible?
ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me very much happiness. I'm delighted to introduce Ms. Shamim Shahnawaz, the speaker of the day for this session. Shamim Shahnawaz is a very experienced personality in the Dubai education field. With 17 years of experience and service in teaching and learning field, she has nurtured thousands according to the modern parameters in the 21st century. She is also the academic head JSS Private School, Dubai, and she has framed the syllabus with very much and value-added skills for various curriculums. Apart from being an educationist, she is the director of BAS Associates, Dubai. She has been focusing on architectural developments, medical field, and several other ventures through BAS. She is very knowledgeable, strong, and bold woman who has been a great example for women empowerment. I welcome you, ma'am, for this session. I would like to request you to enlighten us on e-learning and techniques. Thank you.
Good evening, one and all present here. Thank you, ma'am, for my intro to the audience. I'm here to share a few valuable notes about e-learning and technology, which most of us must be aware and we had explored by now due to the situations happening and the current scenario. When this natural pandemic, COVID-19, has spread all over the world, the effects has been visible almost in all the fields of business, manufacturing companies, exports and imports. And of course, the economy of all the countries are facing a great loss. But I must proudly say, as an educationalist, the education system did not disprice any students away from the flow of learning. Mostly all countries are providing continuous quality education to all the students during this pandemic situation through e-learning. So let me share few notes about e-learning and technology. I would like to share my screen. If you could just bear with me for a second, I will be ready with the PowerPoint. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. slideshow.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, e-learning is, in e-learning, online multimedia learning environment, teaching and learning is one-to-one, where more interactivity in normal classroom, it varies with the class size. Learner-centered is being focused, and learners monitoring and grade system is the main focus of e-learning. The learner centers, in a true learner-centered environment, the learner is the beginning and the end point of the learning process, and the learner's needs are the focus of the program. Tools are available as the learner's needs. The instructor adjusts to the students. The quality of instruction is measured against standards. The student is an active partner in the learning process. The course is continually renewed through feedback from learners. So e-learning as a web-based learning, e-learning is mostly associated with activities involving computers and interactive networks simultaneously. The computer does not need to be a central element of the activity or provide learning content. However, the computer and the network must hold a significant involvement in the learning activity. In this e-learning, the children are more involved, and through the web-based learning is associated with learning materials delivered in a web browser, including when the materials are packaged on CD-ROM or other media disk. There are various tools in e-learning, whereas synchronous discussion forum, teacher can create discussion groups. Teacher would post a question and request students to comment. Students can post their comments, can encourage community participation. Collaborative learning can be fostered. Feedback from diverse culture. So this e-learning tools, there are various. When we really came across this experience, we had, as teachers and as educationalists, I myself has learned a lot of new things using the modern technology. In e-learning, there are different various tools, and there are the main tools which I would mention here is the synchronous learning, where it is the live session happening. Listening to the live radio broadcast, watching live a television broadcast, audio, video conferencing, internet telephony, online lectures, and two-line satellite broadcast. And there is the other one called as the asynchronous learning, where the teacher or the professor can prepare the learning materials and share it to the students, and where the students learn offline. The examples of asynchronous learnings are through telephones, sharing screen, charts, and desktop conferencing and online seminars. The examples of asynchronous learning is through the emails, as I said, the teacher or the professor, she prepares the learning materials and she shares with the students for them to be benefited. There are few obligations for the teachers, like in e-learning, use all available technology, because now the technology, the modern technology have supported us to a vast extent, where e-learning is playing a vital role in this pandemic situation. Encouraging collaborative learning, lay foundation for lifelong learning, incorporate old and new. Building an e-learning culture. It's very important for us to build an e-learning culture, because now, according to the modern technology, we need to learn few new aspects where it depends on the fitness of survival. So according to the teacher develops the knowledge and skills, understanding, learn, and its need, facilitate learning, create learning opportunity. As administrators, create a learning environment, provide ICT infrastructure, resources for lifelong learning. And the main role goes to the learners, as they are self-directed, they are self-motivated, self-regulating, and lifelong learning. The impact of e-learning on teaching learning process, the computer-based network system has provided the present-day teacher with the choice of modern tools to deliver the goods in the classroom and end to the instructional boundaries. Information and communication technology in which e-learning, e-teaching, e-teachers are built-in components has some impacts on teaching learning process. So same as well, we have impacts on teaching learning process, improves efficiency both in learning and teaching, increase motivation, deepens understanding, promotes collaborative learning, gives new approach to the learning environment, provides new ways of interacting, paves way for personality development, increases social skills, creates interest in learning. There are some of the e-learning tools with scopes of email. Every teacher, you must be knowing all these things by now because all the educational institute have been started with e-learning. Every teacher and a student should have an email account, communicate with students, communicate with parents as well. Students can submit their assignments with their attachment and create a paperless environment. Now, according to the current scenario, now this platform is really working out well and the education system has not been stopped for any of the students. Simple but effective, efficient and cost effective. There are few more tools. As I mentioned, the asynchronous discussion forum, teacher can create discussion groups. Teachers could post a question to the students to comment. Students can post their comments and encourage community and collaborative learning and feedback from diverse cultures. Students can upload their learning lively and the teacher gives a comment so that the feedback of the learning is being happening simultaneously. This is about the e-learning tools related to the web. A wide range of materials available. Teacher will need to. It is a resource center, sharing of resources supported by images and audio and stimulating and the multimedia. So there are various tools and apps to inculcate in this educational field. And most and foremost, I would like to just share few rules and regulations to be followed during e-learning. As students and as well as others, we should be very much aware about certain rules and regulations in all the new platforms as well as every situation goes. We should have a positive attitude and intellectual openness, proper dress code to be followed during the e-learning session, and respectful body language and posture. And we should be aware of camera conscious and a polite and a respectful way of talking and behavior, and utilize this e-platform in a wonderful way. So I would like, it's a great opportunity for me. And yes, Mr. Joshua.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this very valuable presentation. Even though we have crossed 3 months of e-learning, there are still a lot of people who are not aware of the norms and everything. I would like to ask you one question. How is UAE handling this e-learning? Are they completely into it? And do you have any high flex system or something?
No, actually, since I'm very closely working in the educational system, like I could mention my own experience. In March 5th, we were being locked down and they said that tomorrow onwards, it's not going to be open. It's going to be a complete lockdown and the schools were being shut. So after that, we were being, in my concern, I'm saying, we have been introduced to Teams, Microsoft, and we had explored a lot many things, and I proudly say that we had completed 3 months of term 1 of the academic year in this new platform. It was a new platform for parents as well as teachers and the children, where we learned together and we had explored together, and all our syllabus is not disparate for any of the students. So it was a wonderful opportunity, and it's a lot more. It's like a sea. You have to learn so many things from this new technology. And I proudly could say we are happy and satisfied as parents, teachers, and students' point of view. We are very much satisfied, and we provide that we have given a wonderful quality education for all the students through e-learning. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable input about how UAE is handling it and talking about e-learning as a reminder that these are all the things we are supposed to follow. Thank you so much, ma'am. And with that, to all our participants, I would like to highlight a few things. Around the globe, we are having some other ways of e-learning that's called the high flex method, where we adopt half a number of students inside the university and half a number at their homes. It is the particular decision taken by the classroom environment or the organizer to decide who comes to the classroom. So that's high flex. And you have the hybrid method where it is customized. The student has all the right to choose if he or she wants to opt for online classes or in person. So these are few things being adopted around the world, and this could be useful for many organizations sitting with us today, and we thought of sharing it with you. Apart from that, tomorrow being our last day of the Global Summit 2020, we have a book launch by our very good friend and a speaker, Jeremiah, and we are looking forward for that. And we have to thank him so much that he has come up to say that he's giving the book to all of the participants for free. The e-book is for free, and I look forward to all your support. Read the books, share your reviews, and we are so excited to do a book launch in the Global Summit tomorrow. In Tatti, for the next few months, we have started out with the Decoding Entrepreneurship 6 days course, Healthcare Management 3 days course. We have acting and script writing courses. We have soft skills and value added skills also lined up in the next 3 months for the benefit for every one of you. Tomorrow, we will also be having the closing ceremony. So we request all of you to be present. And there is a group photo which we would like to take virtually. So please be prepared to turn on your videos without any excuses, because we are in a virtual world and we need to prove that our global summit has gone virtually. So with that, I will now pass it over to Mr. Joshua Gerard, COO of Tatti. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Professor Isaac Selvan Raj, Academic Head, PG Department of Event Management and Public Relations, Tatti, to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajesh Ramachandren, Pro-Chancellor, AMET University Chennai, Vice President of Saraswathi Institute of Medical Science, UP, Vice Chairman of New Era Association of Educated Self-Employed Youth, famously known as NASSEY, and to all our respected speakers, Ms. Diana Petzold, the Superpower Coach from ACC, Mr. Steve Godfrey, Financial Coach, Godfrey International, and Ms. Shamim Shahnawaz, Director of Bars Associates, Dubai, and Mr. Joshua Jared, COO, Tatti. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Tamil Nadu Advanced Technical Training Institute, Tatti, and the entire team, and on my behalf, extend my very hearty vote of thanks to all the esteemed speakers for gracing our Global Summit 2020 and sharing with us your knowledge, findings, and opinions. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to our COO, Mr. Joshua Jarrett, for the perfect logistics support and guidance he has extended to all of us for this global summit. I also extend my thanks to our value management principal and faculties from Loyola Institute of Technology, Sindhi College of Arts and Science, Guru Nanak College of Arts and Science, Vivekananda College of Arts and Science, DMI Engineering College, SIET College of Arts and Science, SA College of Arts and Science, Kanyak Parameshwari College of Arts and Science, Women's Christian College, Tirthankal Nadar College, Patrician College of Arts and Science, Anaya Teresa College of Arts and Science, and participants from 7 different countries for your presence and enormous cooperation in organizing this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and bird's eye view for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues of Tatti who know their jobs and are result oriented. I thank everyone for your involvement and your willingness to take on this task and beyond your comfort zones. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And before we proceed to the national anthem, I kindly request you all to fill the feedback form, which will be uploaded in the chat box. And also tomorrow at the same time on the same meeting ID at 6 o'clock, we are having our last day of the summit with two excellent speakers. And then we have a book launch, we have a closing ceremony, and we have a lot of more exciting things to hear from Tatti. So happy learning with Tatti. I will see you all tomorrow. Good night. And I request you all to raise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you so much, everyone. We have uploaded the link of the feedback form, and we have also uploaded the invitation for tomorrow, 6 o'clock Indian time, for our last day of the Global Summit. Without you, any of this would not have been possible, and we thank you on behalf of Team Tatti wholeheartedly.